Hello. I thought I would start a new series of videos on incense ingredients. Um, I thought I would start with acacia powder. It's a pretty common one. It's got a wide variety of uses. Um, this powder, it's made from a gum. Um, it comes from the acacia tree. It's an evergreen tree. It is in the legume family. One of the other trees in this family is a mimosa tree. Now, this gum is considered to be masculine and is associated with the element of air and the sun. Some of the gods associated with this powder is Osiris, Ra, or Diana. Now, some of the uses for gum arabic, which is also what it is known as. It's used as an emulsifier or a thickener in foods. You can find it as an ingredient in lozenges. And I'm sorry, I have a cold. I need one of those lozenges now. It tends to create a protective film over mucous membranes and relieves irritation. Now, I have not used it in any of my homemade lozenges. I wouldn't suggest that you did unless you did your own research on it. I'm not an expert. Now, some of the things that this can be used for is you can put it in little sleep sachets with your mugwort or your lavender for prophetic dreams and visions. This can be added to other incense like frankincense. It can be used in protection and purification recipes. Now, how you would use this powder is you mix it with water. It is water soluble, so you mix it with a little water until it's dissolved. It's going to be kind of thick. It's going to be a viscous liquid is what you're looking for. So you'll take that liquid and you'll take a powdered incense and you'll add the liquid to this powder until it gets thick enough that you can form it into a cone. Now, in order for this to stay lit, the cone to stay lit, you're going to have an incense blend that is higher in woods or herbs. If you have too much gum resin in there, like frankincense or myrrh, it's not going to burn on its own. It's just going to kind of melt and go out. So, something with a lot of sandalwood or a lot of herbs like your peppermint, vetiver root. Vetiver root burns good. You can also add this with in your recipes with your charcoal or with your mako powder. The mako powder is good. I made this in a previous video. Now with this, when you make it, you don't add water to the mako powder separate. You do the blend like this, and then you add water to it, to all of it, and form it into your cones. This, as I have said, you do separate. You keep this separate from your incense and make your paste with it before you add it. Now, this, okay. So what I've done is I took, I don't know, a half a teaspoon of the powder, and I added some hot water to it. And you are going to want to use hot water. It's going to dissolve quicker in that than it would in cold. In cold water, it's going to get clumpy. Now you see how it's kind of thick, how it kind of jiggles in there. Kind of nasty. That's what you want. So we'll take this. What you do is you take this, and you're going to take your incense blend. Now this particular incense blend is a bit high in resins, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my Mako blend that I made in a previous video. So I'll take some of my incense blend, and I'm going to take some of the Mako powder blend, just enough that I think I can make a pretty good sized cone with. See, it's not a whole lot, maybe half of a teaspoon of each. Well, it was a little more of the Mako powder blend. Now to this, you're going to add your liquid. And you're going to start slow. You just want to add a little bit at a time, because you're going to want to make a very thick mixture. Kind of like a chunk of clay is what you're looking for. And I've made some incense previously, so everything that I usually use is dirty. I was too lazy to clean it up to make this video. I blame the cold. Okay, it's really just laziness. Add a little more. There. See how it's really sticking? That's pretty much where you want to be, right there. It's like forming a ball. It's all sticking to itself. Excuse me. That's pretty much what you want right there. So now you're going to take your fingers and you're going to kind of knead it. You want to knead it. And this is really too much for one incense cone, so I'm going to cut this in half. You don't want to make them too big or they're not going to burn right. And I'm not the greatest at making cones. You all saw my cone in a previous video. It's kind of ugly. Now this cone right here, this blend, it's kind of sticky. So it could use a little more powder. But for the sake of time, we're just going to do it as is. Just use it. That's it, right there. Now you take this and you're going to let it sit on some wax paper so it can dry. It depends on your weather, how humid it is. It could take a couple days to a couple weeks. So when this dries completely, you'll light the tip. Sometimes with some of these cones, it takes a little longer than others. You may have to hold the fire to it a little longer. These cones with the Mako powder in them, with a higher amount of Mako powder, they tend to light faster and burn better. But that's all there is to it. Quick, easy, simple way to make your own cones. Share your own recipes. I'd love to hear them.